Dear workplace therapist, I'm writing because I feel a little lost. The world is in a strange place thanks to the pandemic. I am working a hybrid work schedule and figuring out the office virtual routine is still challenging. Some clients are in person, some are virtual, some industry events are in person, some are virtual. Keeping up with the constantly changing rules and protocols is exhausting. Then the political and social climate is tense. It seems there are few topics you can discuss without offending someone. Even people I was close to before seem distant. With all the unrest and uncertainty, the daily grind feels pointless and I feel like I am floundering. What do you suggest I do in order to stay focused, to have a sense of purpose when everything feels out of sorts? I know this is a broad question, but I'd appreciate your perspective. Signed, what is the point of all this anyway?
Gosh, this is a great question. I think a lot of people can resonate with this question and probably are feeling it. 18 months into this thing, the Zoom meetings and all this virtual stuff is starting to take a toll that, we probably didn't expect. In the beginning, we probably thought, oh, this is amazing. I get to work from home and sit in my pajamas and you can't see what pants I'm wearing and all this kind of stuff, and now it's like, yeah, and I'm just sitting at home and you can't see what pants I'm wearing. The same thing as yesterday, the day before. It reminds me of there's an old Seinfeld episode. It had Newman, who's the mailman, and he's like, one day he just breaks and he says, "The mail!" It just keeps coming and coming and coming, and it's kind of like that. It's like every day the same thing. And I was talking to a leader this week, and she said to me, it's crazy. She said, I actually had more time to go to the restroom and have coffee when I was working in the office. Now that I'm working from home, I literally have no time to go to the bathroom. There's no time because she's booked. She starts her first call at 7:30 in the morning, goes 7:30 to 8:30, then 8:30 to 9:30, then 9:30 to 10, then 10 to 11, then 11 to 12, and then a little window for lunch. And then, and just boom, 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 all the way through. Meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, no breaks, no air in the calendar at all. And so there's that dynamic. There's also the lack of community. I was hearing a lot of this from a lot of my clients. So I actually wrote a blog post on this, on community and how we need to find that because people are missing out on that. I had a client of mine tell me, she said, my community used to be my workplace. Like I really had a real strong identity with my work, my company, and all the people I worked with. She said, now my community, I'm still working virtually, but my community's just become my husband and my two small kids. So it's just the four of us. And that's great, but it's just the four of us. And you can't see my pants. So it's like, it's the same. It's just our world has gotten a lot smaller. And so I'm saying all this to say, what we've learned in this is part of meaning and purpose for us as human beings comes from the interactions we have with other human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we need that. And we need that in a more natural, organic way. So this person's struggling with this because they're like, I'm not sure. We work in person, we're working virtually. And then when I am with a person, what are all the topics that are off limits? Everyone's got their political, beliefs. Everyone's got their, their political religion, their COVID religion. I mean, there's all these religions I can't talk about other than actual religion. Probably wouldn't offend anybody these days, but all the rest are like, off limits because I'm going to offend somebody about something. And so it's finding ways for us to re-engage is part of it. So I think that's part of it. I'm going to stop talking here and get your perspectives here too, Whitney and Emily. But I just think finding places where we can connect with community is going to be part of the solve for this. That's part of the solve. And there's more, but just finding those spaces. So one more thing around that, community it's about routine. So it's about finding a thing you plug into. So you go to like Orange Theory Fitness, which we all go to, and you go there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, you plug in with those same people, or you go to church every Sunday, or whatever your religious affiliation is, if you have one. Or I was talking to one client, maybe he's got a favorite restaurant, and he goes there every Friday, and he sits at the bar, whether he drinks or not, and he just has conversation with the bartender and other folks that are there. It becomes his kind of version of Cheers, but trying to find ways to plug in. If you're comfortable doing that. If you're not comfortable doing it in person, find other ways to get community virtually. But it's about routine. It's about picking a place and a time and day, and you have to keep doing it. That's how we build community.